the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
Yeah.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
This class right here is for unbelief. This class right here is for you and me. This class right here means everything. Everything that an Israelite needs to be. This class right here is for unbelief. This class right here is for you and me. This class right here means everything. Everything that an Israelite needs to be.
No one told us life could get this hard. Everybody failed except the Lord. When I feel like I ain't coming through, I see these issues don't apply to you. Had to change my path, change my ways. All of this heart attack don't last always. The most I make us kings to serve as slaves. I'ma be an Israelite to the grave.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
Yeah.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
We are the defenders.
We are defenders of Zion.
All right, shalom, Most High in Christ bless to everybody that's tuning in. Today's topic is Kevin Samuels and the real problem. All right, this video is addressed to you so-called blacks and you so-called Hispanics whose fathers are Negroid and Indian descent. You are the biblical Israelites. All right, and we have a duty to keep God's commandments in the faith in Christ. All right. First off, you got a lot of women that are happy right now. All right, because Kevin Samuels has passed. But you got to ask yourself a question: is that the right spirit that we supposed to be in? Let's open up with the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, and let's read verse 17.
Shalom, Israel. Happy Sabbath. The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, and verse 17. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth.
The Bible says, rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, man. Come on.
And let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth.
And let not thy heart be glad when he stumbleth, man. See, this the thing. Before and after Kevin Samuels, we continue to have the same issues. The same things keep going on. Okay? Even though we're being told the truth, time after time, we don't take heed to it. All right? And, you know, this truth, a lot of things that are being said by people that are outside of this that can still see certain things, man. So why is that? Why is it that people outside of the truth can still see the problems that we have as a people? Read verse 18.
Verse 18. Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him.
All right, let's go to Micah. Micah chapter 7. In verse 8.
The book of Micah, chapter 7, and verse 8. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy, when I fall. I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me.
So you got to be careful rejoicing over the downfall of your enemy. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 31. Proverbs chapter 31. All right, because we have to address the real problems. Okay. Proverbs chapter 31. Let's read verse 29.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 29. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all.
It says, many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. How can a virtuous woman go past and excel a virtuous woman? Let's go to Sirach chapter 28. Because what this is showing you, it says she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Right? So, this law of kindness out of the mouth, okay, is what makes you excel. Come on.
28.
15.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28 and verse 15. A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women.
A backbiting tongue have cast out virtuous women. So what you're reading, it says that hold on, let me get back to it. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. So what really makes you virtuous is understanding how to control your mouth. Your mouth. When you understand how to control that, it takes you a long way. Right? Let's go to James. James chapter 4. Because obviously what you're reading is that you're a virtuous woman before you get married. Maybe I shouldn't have gave that up so quick. James chapter 4 and verse 7.
The book of James, chapter 4 and verse 7. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
So it says, submit yourselves therefore to God. So before you can submit yourself to your husband, you have to submit to God first. See? And this is the problem that's happening in a lot of relationships. See, what's going on is you had Kevin Samuels that was telling women actual things that are in the Bible. And naturally, that's why women didn't like what he was preaching. He had no idea about the real reason of what's going on. What is behind the scenes to the issues that we have concerning marriage and just women in general. The real problem is you're not following God's commandments. The real problem is you don't know that you're an Israelite. Right? For people that may not know, we'll play a little video to show kind of on the lines of what he was saying and what he was teaching.
Hundreds of thousands of conversations I had is that women want everything. And most people can't afford that. And that's what I want to get down to. It's like, well, ladies, if you want a man who can provide a luxury lifestyle, do you want everything else that comes along with that? You may not see him as much, especially if they're corporate. I would just say this. If 10% of men or less can provide that lifestyle, 50% or more of women want that lifestyle. The numbers don't match. Mm-hmm. So if you can't get the 10%, what are you willing to do? And that gets translated into settling. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times men are hearing they have to settle. Cool, if you got all the things you wanted, what is he gonna get? Me. And if we flip the script, there's no way in Hades you're gonna tell me that this woman would think it would be, she should settle for an average guy. Mm-hmm. She'd want someone on her level. So this is what men are saying. Men are saying, if it's all right for women to want the best, then we should want what we're worth.
Right. So now you should, you kind of see along the lines of what he was saying. Basically, regular women don't want regular men. And this is a very big thing that's happening. Primarily, this is outside of the truth. All right. This is for the sisters that do not know that they're Israelite. What's going on is they have allowed Hollywood and the media to basically tell them that they are way up here above the average man. So what happens is when they get with a man, they already have that mindset of I'm settling, or I don't really have to deal with this. But that's the whole issue that you're looking at when you say, you know, you don't want to have to deal with this, as if having a black man is a problem. And you know, I've watched some of his videos, and a lot of that stuff he's saying is absolutely correct. You had a woman that came on his show, and she said, I believe she was around like 50 years old, and she was saying that her percentage, or the chance she feels like she would be able to get married right now, it would be at about 30%. So she believed that she at 50 had a 30% chance of getting married. So then Kevin asked her, he said, so if we took the black men out of that equation, no more so-called black men, she said that she would have a 0% chance of getting married. So then he asked her, he said, well, if you feel that way, how do you really feel about the black man? What you really is saying to us without saying it is that the black man will accept everything I got going on that I need to work on. Whereas the other men, they wouldn't accept it. And she didn't understand that concept, but we have to realize that we all have things to work on. And when you have that type of mindset, what you're doing is you saying that I'm perfect and I don't have any flaws. But the man that I'm getting with, I need to work on him and I need to fix him because he's messed up and he has things that he need to work on. But you ignoring what you have to work on. And that kind of thing has to be brought to the light, man. Give me Galatians chapter 4. Galatians chapter 4 and verse 16.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
So it's like, you know, because I'm telling you the truth, why do you look at me with all of this hatred? It's the same thing, right? This man trying to tell you the truth and you don't want to hear it. So then he passed away and you rejoicing over his death. Let's go to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2. And let's read verse 14.
The book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 14. For when the Gentiles...
For when the Gentiles, all right. These Gentiles are Israelites right here. Right? Read that from the top.
For when the Gentiles, which have not the law.
The Gentiles which have not the law. It's talking about the Israelites that have turned away from the truth, right? They don't have the law. Come on.
Do by nature the things contained in the law.
Do by nature the things contained in the law. Come on.
These having not the law are a law unto themselves.
So don't think because somebody is not in the truth that they can't be doing or telling you something that's in the Bible. Read that from the top.
The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 14. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves.
Come on.
Which shew the work of the law written in their hearts.
Which shew the work of the law written in their hearts, man. So you have to understand that somebody that may not know that they are Israelite, that don't mean that they don't have something to say that would be wise. Come on.
Their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another.
So this law that's written in their hearts, it means that because they are an Israelite, they naturally have certain points of logic. They naturally have within themselves certain things that are in the law. You might have somebody that just believes that they never heard they was Israelite, but deep down inside they like, man, I'm not eating no pork. I'm not eating that swine. There's something that's wrong with it. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. It's natural inside of them. You may have, some sisters that just so happen to like fringes on their clothes. They don't know nothing about Numbers 15:38. But something in them is telling them, I like the way these look. Specifically, I like the color blue. Like that's a law within themselves. Even though they're not keeping it, there's certain things that they know are correct. And those certain things would be in the scriptures, man. We have to see that. All right, let's go to First Esdras. First Esdras chapter 4. And let's read verse 14.
The book of First Esdras, chapter 4 and verse 14. O ye men.
I'm in second Esdras, my bad. Go ahead.
The book of First Esdras, chapter 4 and verse 14. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women?
So when you read this, you see that the question that's being asked is, who really has power upon the earth? And you have people saying, it's the king. You got people saying that it's women. Come on.
Women have borne the king, and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men. And without women cannot men be.
So what he's saying is, when you look at everything in the operations, women have the power. See, this is what a lot of women, even women that's in the truth, they don't understand how powerful they would be if they would submit. Submission is where the power is. The scriptures is telling you that. So you may think as a woman, you have power being independent. And you have, power being trying to be the Lord over your husband or whoever, your boyfriend, men in general. But the scriptures is about to show you something. Right, come on.
Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver, or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty? And letting all those things go, do they not gape, and even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her?
So a man with these riches and a man with gold, his mind can be changed when he sees a beautiful woman. Come on.
And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold, or any goodly thing whatsoever? A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife.
A man leaves his father and his mother, and he cleaves unto his wife. Right? The reason why the scriptures say what it say in Genesis, when it say a man leaveth father and mother, is because your marriage is supposed to be for you. The marriage is supposed to be between you and your spouse. Y'all's business is not for everybody. This is what we about to read. Come on.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife. He sticketh not to his father and mother, but he cleaves to his wife. Read that from the top.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country.
He don't remember those things. He don't stick to those things, but he cleaves to his spouse. Come on.
By this also ye must know that women have dominion over you.
That women have dominion over you. This is not talking about a woman dominating you like a man. This talking about a woman using her submission. Read.
Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman? Come on.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal upon the sea and upon rivers, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness, and when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
At the end of the day, what it's showing you is that a man he'll go through all these things for his woman. It's showing you that this woman has power over him. So you may look at the king and you may think, oh, the king is powerful and the king has all this might. But you're not addressing that the queen is the one that has that power. Come on.
Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sake.
So now it's showing you, man, men have gone out of their way and sin because of that woman. Read.
Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women.
So when you reading this, you have to understand that the woman has power, right? The woman has power. Let's go back to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 31. Proverbs 31. And let's read verse 3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto a woman.
Give not thy strength unto women. Come on.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
So here we go. We're looking at this reference of, who has the most power. Is it the king or is it the woman? But the scriptures is saying, give not thy strength unto women. What is this strength concerning? This strength is talking about rulership. Give not thy strength unto women. This rulership pertains to ordering of your house, your rulership. You don't give that strength to a woman. You're supposed to be that ruler. Understand that, a woman's power is not through her strength, but it's through her mouth. So now, as a woman, you can either use that strength to help, or you can use that strength to hurt. This is why our elder always used to say to the women, are you trying to build or are you trying to tear down? Read that from the top.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, and verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women.
Don't give your strength unto women. Don't give your zeal. Don't give your rulership. Don't give up, thus saith the Lord, man. Come on.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Come on.
It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine.
It is not for kings to drink wine. This wine is going into what? Doctrine. Doctrine, doctrine, doctrine. A lot of people see that word wine and they think, oh, a king can't drink wine. No, wine was made to make men glad. So this wine right here is talking about the doctrines. Where are these doctrines coming from? You have to always think about the beginning. Go back to the beginning. Let's go to Isaiah real quick. The book of Isaiah. And let's read chapter 29 and verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 9. stay yourselves, and wonder. Cry ye out, and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink.
They are drunken, but not with wine. Meaning that you could be drunk with wine, but you haven't drunk anything. Because it's talking about the doctrine. Right? Give not thy strength unto women. See, you have a book. The Bible tells us how to conduct ourselves. It has commandments for the woman. It has commandments for the man. When we do not follow these things, this is the real problem. This is where the problem come in. When we don't go according to the word, man. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3. Because this Bible is full of commandments and the Bible is full of judgments. So the Bible tells you how to conduct yourself. The Bible tells you what will happen if you don't conduct yourself. It's prophecy. Right? Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
As for my people, children are their oppressors, man. Don't think about this so much as a literal child. Think about this as a childlike mind. Read.
And women rule over them.
And women rule over them, man. So you have the woman that's ruling over the man because she's using her mouth. She's using shame, insults, guilt, and need to be right. It's there, man. But the point is, the Bible shows it. Come on.
Oh, my people.
Oh, my people, man. Oh, you so-called blacks and Hispanic. Read.
They which lead thee cause thee to err.
They which lead thee cause thee to error, man. See, at the end of the day, even though Kevin Samuels was saying some things that was right, he wasn't always right. Because he wasn't telling you all the way, thus saith the Lord, as an Israelite. And that's a part of the problem. That's a part of the problem. Come on.
And destroy the way of thy paths.
And destroy the way of thy path, man. Come on.
The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people.
And standeth to judge the people, man. The Lord sends forth the prophets. The prophets have been saying these things from the jump. The prophets have been saying the same thing from the jump. Because you got certain women that don't want to hear or they believe what Kevin Samuels say, but you don't want to hear thus saith the Lord. But thus saith the Lord was here before he was even thought of. Go to Jeremiah 44. Jeremiah 44, and let's read verse 4.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, and verse 4. Howbeit,
read.
I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets.
I sent unto you all my servants, the prophets. Come on.
Rising early, and sending them, saying, Oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate.
The prophets have always been here, man, saying the same thing. Do not this thing that the Lord hate. Read.
But they hearken not.
But they hearken not. Read.
Nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods.
To burn no incense to other gods, man. We've had the same problems from the jump. And we fail to see the solution. The solution. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 56.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 56.
See, what you're going to realize, man, is the Lord set laws and he set judgments. The Lord set curses up. He said, if you don't keep my commandments, this is what's going to happen. Read.
The tender and delicate woman among you.
The tender and delicate woman among you. This is what Kevin Samuels called the modern woman. Come on.
which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground.
She would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground. She don't want to work. Come on.
For delicateness and tenderness,
Uh-huh.
her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom,
Uh-huh.
and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
Man, what we reading is say her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. He showed some type of statistic that was saying majority of the divorces that come from black families come from the woman filing for divorce. That's a problem, man. But the reason that these things are happening is because you're not looking at the scriptures. Give me Romans chapter 7 and verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
I speak to them that know the law. Read.
How that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
Uh-huh.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband.
Read that from the top. Verse 2.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband.
So what you have, the scriptures is saying no divorce. But then folks is getting divorces and we wonder what the problem is. It's because they're not following the law. So what happens is people have problems in the relationship and they're using emotion to get out of the situation instead of realizing that there's a law in place that goes past your emotions. See, when you're dealing with marriage, one of the things that has been brought out is happiness. Okay? A marriage is a union where you grow old together and you help your husband push this truth. This is what it's all about. Where do it say that if you're not happy that you can get a divorce? What scripture is that? Before you even try to find that, read verse 2 again.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth.
So long as he liveth, man. So when you think about happiness in general, it's not your spouse's job to make you happy. That is an illusion that has been put on our people. It's your job to be happy. Because if you have to be a virtuous woman before you get married, you should also be happy before you get married. If you are in a state of depression and having all these issues, how can you prove somebody else? Because the Bible say prove a friend. The real way that you prove a friend is by proving yourself, examining yourself. When you look at yourself and you say, okay, I believe that I got this thing together, then you go out and you're able to prove a friend. But if you don't have yourself together, how can you prove somebody else? How can you judge somebody and you got a beam in your own eye? It's the same thing. It's your job to be happy. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 32. Verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32, and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease.
Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Come on.
Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
Give ear unto my speech. When it's talking about my speech, it's talking about the words of the Lord, man. You have to understand that, you have women that have no idea about what's coming to the earth. They haven't been taught how to be wives. Everything, along with this truth, being in this truth is a learned behavior. You don't just wake up and now you a law-keeping Israelite. No, everything has to be learned. So does being in a marriage. When you're in a marriage, that's a learned behavior. Being submissive is a learned behavior. That's why before you get married, you have to be submissive to the Lord first. Then you enter into the marriage because you have learned what submission is about by following the Lord. Then when you following the Lord, it just get transferred over. So basically what's being said is, okay, you've learned submission. Now the same way that you've been treating the Lord, the same way you need to treat your husband. That's how you know what submission is all about. You follow the Lord's commandments. You follow your husband. It's the same thing. So what you have going on, go to Sirach chapter 5. Sirach chapter 5. And see, the problem is, you have women that are outside this truth. And basically what they've been taught is it's all about them. Everything, the wedding has to be all about them, all the money, it's all about them. If you go on vacations, anniversaries, everything, it's all about them. That's a part of the problem. And you see it, right? And you have women that have not been taught how to be submissive. They have not been taught how to be wives. And they enter into these relationships and it's just problems all the way through. And it's a recurrent, it's a cycle that continues to happen because these women that have not been taught are trying to teach the younger women. So now the younger women are starting to realize they don't want to look like these older women when they grow up. They're starting to learn the importance to being a wife and understanding submission. They saying we don't want to be independent. But that's all a part of the scriptures, man. That's a part of returning back to that natural nature. Right? Bring that out. Sirach 5 and 12.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 12. Mm-hmm. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. Mm-hmm. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, put your hand over your mouth, man. So you have women that have not been taught how to be submissive or how to be wise, and they're trying to teach the younger women. You need to stop and begin to learn this book. This is the solution to all of our issues. We got another clip. Now, as you watch this clip, I want you to look at how this woman keeps interrupting him. And then when he finally say, okay, go ahead and teach them. What do they need to do? She ain't had nothing to say. But she was still talking, though. Read that again.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5 and verse 12. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
This is your problem right here. Women who say they know better, but they still want to tell you, not all the same. And we need to figure out every snowflake. Man, do you look at these women's faces when you're talking? They're looking at you the same way. You're not getting it.
No, I know what you mean, but you know what I mean. You know, I know what you mean, but I don't know if you know what I mean.
This is about modern relationships. The older cousins, the aunties, the women who have made the mistakes aren't humble enough to remove themselves from the story. Whatever happened, tell the women, tell these young women what they should do. How about that? I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna step back. You tell them what they should do.
I don't know what I should do because I don't have my stuff together, but I will be honest and say that my mom, she's amazing and smart.
No, ma'am. I only ask you one thing: to tell these young women what they should do.
To live their life, to be happy.
Tell them how to do that.
Pardon me?
Tell them how to do that.
By just living off what you feel. I would like to say, but really not.
Well, the first thing she said is, "I can't tell you how to do that." But she's still trying to overtalk me and still wanting to be heard. And then when I let you talk, she's got nothing for you. Just go on how you feel. That's what got you where you are. That's what got me where I am. That's what I mean. This is the problem, young ladies. I want you guys to see this is not necessarily a black thing. This is the modern woman thing. Mm-hmm. You got two young women who are trying to learn, and you should be able to tell them something different. So this is why I say all you got is me. So you got to put up with my tone, because at least I'm trying to tell you something. I come with facts, data, statistics. I don't come with this bullshit that most women are coming with. Well, shit just happens. Live life. At least I give you something that you can research to think about. The women failed you guys, not the men.
The woman failed us and not the men.
You women failed these young women. Yes. I'll ask you again. Tell these women who are 10 to 16 years younger than you what they should do to get a different outcome than you.
I would say just think before you speak, because I really don't sometimes, and do what makes you happy, because this is only one life, and that's all I gotta say. Because, and like I was saying before, that my mom taught me, and I never listened or thought about it till it panned out in my life. She was like you need to pick your battles. You know what I mean? You know how when people get you mad and get you upset, and if you nitpick and bitch and complain about every single thing, you're just gonna fuck shit up. You know what I mean? Mess stuff up. You know what I mean? And she was like, sometimes, you ain't going nowhere, and you love this man and whatever, you need to calm down and relax and not mess it up, because you're not going anywhere because you love him and you're not going anywhere. But I'm not saying hey, disrespect me, but she was saying that to me, and I never understood it till I got a little older.
So 21, did that help you in any way?
Pardon me? I couldn't hear you.
I think what she's saying is just try not. A lot of women are impulsive, and I feel like she's saying to not be so impulsive. It's to actually think through your decisions before you actually make them, and try not to involve.
Is that what you? Okay.
I tried to dissect a little bit of some.
But I'm reading your facial expressions, and it's not making any sense. It's not connecting. And again, the whole thing about do what makes you happy is the problem. Happiness is short term, ma'am. What makes you happy is what children do. It's time to grow up. You need to do what's right. Do what's practical, like grown-ups. Stop. I let you speak. Get out of this. I need to do what makes me happy and live my own life. This ethereal, liberal bullshit, you only got one way around it. That is amazingly short-sighted and selfish. So you can say that and then turn around and say that your mother told you something, but at the end of the day, you did what your ass wanted to do because it's all about you. And that's the problem with today's women.
That
It's
is
not
so true,
about
low-key.
anybody but them.
Like, we don't want to hear that, but you're telling the truth.
Yeah, have a good one.
No need to say I follow.
All right, so obviously, when you're watching that, the first thing you should be seeing is she wanted to talk, but then when it was time for her to talk, as you see, she didn't have any advice for the other women. The second thing is this whole idea of, you know, it's all about me. It's very selfish, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 6.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5 and verse 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
It say, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth, man. Man, you sisters that's outside of this truth, you gotta realize that it's nothing waiting on you but death. That whole mindset of you know, all about me and being selfish, there's nothing waiting on you but death. So if you want to, you know, live in pleasure and all that stuff, just keep in mind that you can't live in pleasure, but then you telling folks that you a Christian. You know that, you know, you telling folks how much you love. You know, I love the Lord, but you trying to get your boyfriend to go to church with you. Yeah, we know, we see you. It's not the way, man. Let's go back to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2. And let's read verse 19.
The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 19. And art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind.
So then you have, on the other hand, even though Kevin Samuels was telling them the right thing, he still doesn't understand the full scope of, sir, you're a part of the problem as well, because even though you're telling them the right thing, you're not really telling them the root of the problem. So you're not getting the root of the problem. You know, you keep cutting off pieces of the leaves and other stems, but the tree is still growing. You're supposed to go and cut it from the source and cut it off, man. But instead, you know, you popping little twigs off the tree, and you're not understanding that this problem runs deep. This problem that we have is a direct result of us not keeping the commandments. Read that from the top.
And art confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind.
So, you know, the brother, he's pretty confident that he's guiding these sisters. Come on.
A light of them which are in darkness. An instructor of the foolish. A teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law.
So, you know, he has a form of knowledge, but it's not really the full scope. You know, you have a little form, you have a little bit. You telling people right, but you ain't grasped the whole thing, man. Read.
Thou, therefore, which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself?
Thou that teachest another, you're supposed to be teaching yourself. Come on.
Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal?
Dost thou steal? This is how you know that the law is still in effect. What he's saying is you have to practice what you preach. But folks will take this as, we don't have to keep the law at all. No, man. Folks will be so busy trying to get out of this, they don't realize that, man, they are part of the problem. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have people that are going to be telling you the truth and saying certain things. But you need to get this from the Israelites, man. You need to learn this truth from the prophets. Read that.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
He revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets, man. So all you sisters that was following Kevin Samuels and, you know, was saying that, you know, you agree with what he's saying, join the force. The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
We gonna obey God rather than men every single day, man. And with that we say, Shalom.